Hello, today I'm going to continue my what if Deku was an immortal demon fairy. So, in the last part, Deku just got his weapon and his immortality from the Death Forest. So, he got back to school, he showed, someone asked him what the bracelet was, he just said, oh, it's from a tree that I found in a forest. It was able to shapeshift, so I took a piece of it and I made that. Then he just shows like 2 or 3 of his abilities, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Then we pass all the way up to when the teacher start telling where, well, the start of the anime where the teachers start telling everyone, okay, you have to choose what you want to be when you grow up. Then throws the paper up and says, who am I kidding? Every one of you wants to be a hero. So, yeah. He looked and said, Bakugo, you want to go to UA? And then he says, oh, Midoriya, you too want to go to UA. Compared to in the anime, nobody laughs because literally he's stronger than anyone in class. Because he he did show that he could regenerate to the class, but he didn't tell him that it was because he was immortal. He told them that it was because of the bracelet he has that he can transform into weapon. He showed them Pollen Garden and said, the effect is always on when I have it on me, so basically I heal extremely fast from practically anything. Sorry. So nobody laughs at that. Later that day he's not sad or anything, so he doesn't pass by the tunnel, so he's not attacked by the sludge villain. All Might catch a sludge villain, no problem with that. So Bakugo isn't attacked after that. So Midoriya didn't meet All Might at all. He didn't even know he was in the city. So then he already trained every day a little, but this time he decided to say, if I want to go to UA, I have to train more with my abilities. I have to be stronger, no matter what. So he starts training for 10 months. He goes to the forest where no one knows where he's going because he just goes there. The only one that know where he is his mom. So yeah, for the first month he does that without problem. Up until some point he hears someone saying that someone's trying to clean a beach. He asks where it is, and he decides he wants to go see what's happening. Since he just wants to know for some reason. I can't think of one right now. But he goes there, and that's the moment that he meets the girl that to add to the story. Um, I'm going to replace Mineta with her. Her name is going to be Aki. Wait, Aki. Her name is going to be Akiko Amy. All Might decided to train her because let's say something happened. He did catch the sludge villain, but like I said, he didn't attack Izuku nor Bakugo, he attacked this girl instead. So, she defended herself by using her quirk, which I'm going to call Time Bubble. In that, with that quirk, she can make bubble in, in space where in that bubble she can accelerate or slow down times to whatever she wants. So basically, if she wants, she can put you in a bubble and make you go 10,000 times slower or 10,000 times faster, which will literally make you stop moving completely or kill you almost instantly. He saw that she was already strong because with her quirk she wanted to be a hero, so she decided to train. But All Might still wanted her to train for a bit with that. So yeah, with her quirk, I'm all going to say it right now. If she wanted to, she could slow herself down to let time pass around her by making a bubble, putting her in, placing herself inside of it, and then just place herself to make herself a lot slower. Like for her, a day is about a year or something on the outside, or whatever she wants to pass time extremely fast. So, yeah. Okay, so Deku saw what they were doing. Well, a girl cleaning the beach with an old man looking at her and telling her what to do or how to train more. So Deku just kind of went down to look at the beach because, well, he decided that he wanted to talk to her. Well, them. Since he was training and he was starting to think that there was better thing he could do than just try to use his weapon. Since, yes, he can use his snatch and other things on the monsters in the forest, but he wanted to try it on a human to try and make sure that he doesn't kind of kill them or something. Worst, even. So, yeah. Akio and All Might saw him. He kind of just started going down the stairs looking around. And they kind of just stopped the training and I would say when that happened, All Might asked, "Are you okay, young one? Young man, are you lost or something?" They could just say, "Oh no, not really. It's just that I was training the other day and I heard at school that there were people cleaning this beach. And I had already saw how dirty it was and I wanted to see how clean she was able to make it." So then All Might says, "So you just wanted to know how clean the beach was? Or did you want something else?" Then Deku said, "Well, actually it's because I'm training my quirk in a forest and I kind of want to have a human training partner instead of just beasts and monsters, since I want combat training as well." All Might, intrigued, asks, "What do you mean, beast in a forest and with human instead?" Then he says, "Oh, well, you see, for the past month I've been training in the forest, well, that forest." And just after he said that, All Might said, "Wait, you go to that forest? This place is off limit to anyone. It's dangerous in there. There's the plants move on their own and monsters are in there." Then Deku says, "Yeah, I know. That's actually where but it's no biggie. They don't attack me that much since I can fly over it. I mostly train next to the big tree in the middle, which not a lot of monster goes near." All Might says, "Wait, but why do you go there? It's literally off limit to anyone that tries to go in, and almost nobody is able to come out, so why did you go there? Or why did you go there in the first place?" Then he just decided to say, "Well, do you know?" I'm gonna say his father's hero name was something like, um, mm, wait a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna say his hero name. He decided to call himself the Fist of Darkness, since he can literally create darkness around him. He asked All Might if he knew about the hero, and All Might said, "Yes, I knew about him. He died around a year ago. It's really sad, mostly because if he would have known to not touch the villain, he would have been able to beat him pretty easily. We already had a spar, and he was stronger than me. He, in physical strength. No, I'm gonna say he didn't know that he was stronger than him because he didn't go all out, but All Might said he me and him had a spar and he was pretty strong. So when I heard that he died, I was very sad. Then Deku said, "Yeah, well, he was my dad." And All Might and the girl were like, "Wait, the number 4 hero was your dad? So what, you have his quirk? And that's why you fly over the forest?" Then Deku says, "Well, I have a mix of him and my mother's quirk with something more." He says, "What do you mean?" Then he says, "Well, my dad's quirk was called Darkness Demon, which let him make darkness around him and heal himself pretty fast, and also create black flames. He also had the capacity to use if he had a weapon. He could use it to send back quirk that send attack from a distance back to against the one who sent it with 2 times strong by making it 2 times stronger at the same time." All Might was like, "Wait, so your dad didn't use his full strength against me?" Then he said, "Well, he talked about the fights that you had. He said that if he that he wouldn't even have been able to send back the attack, your air impulsion anyway, since it's basically just you pushing air, not sending something out." So All Might was like, "Oh, I get it. So, That's sad still. Are you okay with it? Deku says, yeah, I've been able to pass it since not long after that happened. I kind of ran away from home and went into the forest. That's where I met someone that had a quirk similar to my mother's quirk, but she she was close to she was old and she's still alive, but not as strong as my mom or my dad. Then he asked, "Who's your mom about that? Is she a hero?" Which Deku says, "No, she didn't want to be one. She has a normal job, but it's okay." So, what is your mom's quirk? Her quirk is called Fairy. She has wings, she can fly, she can control plants and water. Um, she can read minds, which is one of the only abilities I didn't get from her. She also has a power called Disaster, which is actually what allows her to control plants, water, and stuff like that. Which, if you use it against someone who's injured, the injury can become 10 times worse. So, a simple scratch can become a gash that is literally pouring blood and could kill you. All Might's like, whoa. And she didn't want to be a hero with those quirks. He said, not really, but so you have all of those powers in you. They come, yeah, but I also have something else. We call the quirk doctor said that I had that with their powers I also gained some I also have something else. I can well it's easier to show you. Then he looks at a small trash a small piece of trash and just kind of views his snatch ability, which brings it to him. They say, oh, so compared to just being able to control plants and other stuff, you can bring stuff to you? Then he says, well, actually, it's more like the capacity to steal anything from anywhere if it is I see it. The only thing that stops it from being brought to me is if someone's able to hold onto it stronger than what I can pull. I also have the capacity to steal physical strength from others, so for a bit of for a certain amount of times. I have a capacity that I call Zero Sight, which makes me invisible. And I have some others that comes from it. So, sorry. So All Might's like, so you have a lot of powers. So what is the name of your quirk? That is, what's the name that they decided to call that quirk? Then the goose says, well, I have the they say I have three quirks because of that. Well, a mix of my parents' quirk and a second quirk more. It's called Demon Fairy, and my capacity to steal and do other stuff is called well Stealer. So it's pretty good. And then Akiko asks, but Zero Sight, why is it And that's because it's weird. Then Deku says, oh, well, actually, it's not that I become invisible, it's more that for everyone around me, except if they see they're looking through a camera, I steal their capacity to sense, hear, see, or see me. So I'll become completely invisible for anyone around me that isn't looking through a camera or something like that. Then she's like, whoa, so you can basically steal anything. Yeah, pretty much. I also have this. He shows his bracelet. All might ask, what is it? Then he said, that's a weapon that I created from wood. Well, from the tree in the middle of that forest, actually. Hmm? If you want to go to the entrance exam for UA, you might not be able to use it. Then he's like, actually, I might be able to, because it's just wood that I use my quirk on to change forms. Then he shows them all but one of the forms. So, Spirit Spear, Guardian, Pillow, um, Fossilization, Sunflower, Luminosity, Pollen Garden, Armor, Sword, Nunchuck, and the other stuff. But he doesn't show them the forest ability because, well, they're literally on a beach, so not really a good idea. He tells them though that he has it and what it does, which they are impressed by. Then Akio says to All Might, "Oh, wouldn't he be a good successor too, instead of me?" All Might's like, yes, but still. Then Deku's like, successor? What do you mean? Then All Might transforms and says, well, I am All Might. And he then transforms, coughing. Sorry. Um, my quirk is called All One for All, and it can be passed down from user to user to make it grow stronger. I decided that she was going to be the next successor, but she still wanted. She was saying She mostly says that if I was able to find someone else who would be better with it, to give it to them. Would you be interested in it? And without even All Might finishing the question, Deku says, no, I'm okay. Which All Might is kind of surprised, just like the girl. Like, are you sure? Then Deku says, yeah, I'm perfectly okay with what I have. I'm basically stronger. I'm basically strong, extreme. I have multiple powers, I can regenerate. And compared to my dad, who could regenerate practically everything except if his brain was destroyed, I kind of have a stronger version of that. All Might tells him, what do you mean? Then he makes the spirit spear and says, please keep this a secret, just like I'm going to keep yours, but I'm immortal. Which both Kiko and All Might are like, what? And then he just destroyed his head completely. Like, no trace of it left. No, he destroyed the entire upper half of his body. He did remove his shirt before doing that, so that it wasn't destroyed. But both of them just kind of are just really surprised and scared, and then they just see his upper body just regrow completely, which they freak out like a lot. It's like, what the hell happened? What the hell did you do that? Then he says, don't worry, don't worry. Um, I, my mother, my mother's quirk is extremely powerful in the sense that I can live for a long time. They ask him, what do you mean? Then he says, well, the other person that has a quirk similar to my mom, she's actually almost 1,500 years old. Which they both just kind of, wait, what? But quirks arrived, only started appearing about 4 generations ago. Then Deku says, yeah, well, he's going to lie for that, but he says, actually, she comes from this time, but she explained to me that someone had used a quirk on her that sent her back around around exactly around 1,400 something years ago. Well, she was young, so she basically stayed and lay low without showing her quirk for all of that time, but yeah, when she got back to the point where she was sent back, she just kind of took the place. Since he takes out his phone and just showed the picture of his mom, and she literally looked like the same age as him. And All Might's like, is that your sister? Or, no, that's my mom. What? Yeah, basically, after a certain point, we don't age. We can do that though. And then he just kind of shape shifts into an adult form. We can do that. Transforming our bodies to look older. But in the court registration, it is said that she'll look like that, and multiple times police tried to stop my dad because they thought that she was a kid, but no, she's around 70. No, he just said, but she's older than that. He's like, yeah, well, still, that's impressive. So you're going to stay like that? Yeah, pretty much. Then Akiko says, so you told me your quirk. I'm gonna tell you mine at least, so that we're kind of on equal footing for that. Then she explained her quirk to him, and he's like, wow, so basically you can age anyone you want, or slow them down to save them time. And she's like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. All Might then tells Deku, so do you want to train with us, or... Deku says, yeah, I can. If you want also, when the beach is cleaned, we can go in the forest to train. He's like, no, we're not going into that forest. It is a place where normally you wouldn't even be supposed to go close to. Then he said, don't worry, I'm not talking about in the forest directly. I'm going to go where the big tree is. since, like I said, not a lot of monsters go near the tree. Most of them are gentle actually and can be perfectly fine. He's like, "Are you sure?" Then Deku says, "Yeah, believe me, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. I've been there for a while." So then, for a while, every day he helped clean the beach. After like 4 months, well, 4 months in the 10-month training, they finished cleaning it, and then All Might decided to give his quirk to Akiko. So, yeah. Just like in the anime, he says. Sorry about that. He says, "Eat this," while giving her a strand of hair. She eats it, and then, since she doesn't want to make them wait, she just create a bubble around her, which for her it will be 4 hours, but for them it will be around a minute or something. So she stays in there for like a minute and a half, so for 6 hours about, and then comes out and All Might says, "So you digested it?" And she said, "Yeah, it feels weird though." And then he says, "I want you to try and concentrate your strength and then give a punch. But look out, you might break your arm." She's a little bit scared, and then Deku says, "Don't worry, I'm gonna heal you afterward." Just like, okay. So he makes Pollen Garden, which makes the bubble around her. Well, around them. And then All Might feels weird. He feels his injury starting to heal, and he starts coughing blood a little. Since he didn't tell Deku about the injury because, well, he didn't want to, unless he had accepted. Since he saw him in his candy farm, but he didn't want to explain the injury. Since if he didn't accept the quirk, it wouldn't be needed anyway to explain why he needs to pass it down. So Deku and Akiko asked All Might if he's alright, and then he said, "Yeah, I'm fine. My chest hurted for a bit, but I don't feel anything now." He lifts his shirt and there's no injury. Akiko said, "Wait, you're healed." Which Deku then asked, "What do you mean?" Then All Might says, "Well, you see, a while back I fought against a villain and I got hurt very badly. When you told me about your weapon and that you could heal, I didn't think of asking you because I thought since the wound was already closed, it might not do anything. But it seems that it it actually worked anyway." Deku's like, "Well, if you would have asked me, I would have told you it. I would have tried earlier, and you might have get healed, and you would have get healed earlier too." He says, "Yes, sorry, young Midoriya. I just didn't want to put you in the same position as her if you didn't accept my quirk, which you didn't." He says, "It's okay, but at least now I know that you're okay." He buffs up and he kind of stays in that form for a long time. When During that time, Akiko was using All for One and breaking her bones and arms, and Deku's healing them. Then Deku said, "Why don't you put it through your whole body? You're just using it in one arm at the time." Which All Might just thought, yeah, it's true, she's doing that. I didn't even think about it. Then she tries it, making full body, but he said, try not to go all out during the time you're using that before she transformed, because he said, if you destroy your entire body and die, I'm pretty sure I won't be able to heal that. Which both her and All Might kind of laughed, like, yeah, true. Might not be a good idea. So, after that happened, she saw that she was able to use like 5%, just like Deku was in the anime, and then he said, so do you want to go to the forest, or do you want to just train on the beach, since you can't really do anything here? Then All Might says, I told you before, we're not going to that forest. So then Deku asks, so then is there a place where there's not a lot of trees, where if there were some that were to grow, nobody would actually be mad at it, or even be, or some people might actually be even happy? And All Might says, well, there is a park where there were trees that got cut down after a fire, since they were dead. I know that in some place there's someone that was planting a lot of trees in the night, and wait, you said you had the capacity to make tree grow. He said, yeah, well, most of those plays were from me. Then All Might says, yes, well, there are some monsters that are in there. That you come. Well, those places are nice for people to go. Then Deku says, yeah, well, there are some shroom monsters and other things that are completely herbivore and won't even try to attack you unless you attack them. So they kind of keep the place good and healthy. Most people won't see them since they don't actually like being seen. Mike's like, so wait, you're putting monsters in cities? Then Deku says, not really, they're just It's actually that some of the mushroom that grows in the dead forest, which I'm able to make the same kind of forests. Those mushroom are alive sometimes. Well, most times. But they're inoffensive unless you attack them first. And even if you attack them, all they do is actually just try to grab you and then toss you out. So it's not really a problem. It's like, okay, so almost no one sees them, and even if they get attacked, they just throw people out of the forest. Yeah. The problem with Dead Forest is that a lot of monsters are there. Animals that have quirks are there too. They go there because humans don't attack. So they see it as a place where they can actually be okay. Sorry about that. So they find a location, they go there, Deku makes a forest, and they train there for a while. So for the rest of the 10 months, they train there, and on the last day, they go back and meet at the beach before the entrance exam, and Akio and Izuku, while during the 10 months training, they started going out together because they passed a lot of times together. They go healing her trying out her quirk on him, seeing how fast she could, well, not on him, but in the forest, like, he makes one tree, then she accelerates the time on it, see how it grows and stuff, and that's pretty much it. Or she uses her quirk on him and slow him down to see how fast he's able to go over time. Like they do races with him being slowed down because he's extremely fast compared to her. So, yeah, that also trains Deku in speed since, yeah, for him, everything around him goes faster, but that also makes him go faster because he wants to go faster. He trained his speed, strength, and whatever in the forest, helping her. And when the entrance exam arrives, she can use about 9% thanks to all of that training without hurting at all. 15%, she can boost to 15% with just kind of a tingly sensation around her body. And if she goes to 20%, well, then it actually hurts. So All Might also teached her how to make the wind propulsion with her fingers and stuff like that. So now the entrance exam is. I'm going to do the entrance exam and then I'm going to stop. So when they arrive there, Deku's literally flying, so he's not falling. She's running behind him, and then, and then they do the written exam, which Deku does good, better than in the original, since Inko literally made him learn everything he could about the world and about, well, anything for school. Akiko spending time with him and studying with him while in the forest did make her quite intelligent as well. Like, Deku got 100% and she got like 89 or something. So after that, they are in the, well, where, what was his name? The mic guy that can scream. I don't remember his name. Well, where he explains the robots and stuff. Deku doesn't talk like he did in the original, but Ida still asks, "What about the last robots with President Mike?" That's the name. Telling him, "Well, actually, it's because that robot doesn't go for any points. It's just an obstacle. So if you see it, just go past it. Don't worry." So after that, they go they go to leave, and Deku asks President Mike something before it's over, and he asks, I have this that I don't know if I'm allowed to use. I basically use it with one of my quirks. It's a piece of a tree that I found that I can change it into different forms and weapons. I just wanted to know if it's okay for me to use it. President Mike's like, what do you mean? Then his bracelets start floating. He transforms it into a spear, then a pillow, then the guardian, then whatever. And President Mike says, well, you're using it because of your quirk, so I would say it's okay since it, like you said, it is wood, right? Then Bakugo says, well, all he can do is control plants, water, and wind with his power. He can also steal some stuff, and regenerate, but basically that weapon just comes from a. Literally, he says it outright. It comes from the biggest tree in that forest. Kind of looking smug, and everyone's like, wait, you went to that forest? What the hell did you do there? That that weapons come from the tree that kills people and everything. And then he said, don't worry, the forest isn't that dangerous if you pass on top of it to go to the tree. I just met someone there who gave me a piece of the tree and said that with my powers I'll be able to use it to do some stuff. So basically that's all. So President Mike says, okay, yeah, I'm gonna allow it, but don't attack anyone with it. He says, don't worry, I'm not going to. And then they go for it. Um, Akiko and Deku are separated. Akiko's gonna get a lot of points, but not as much as Deku. So, when President Mike says 3, 2, 1, go, and that the door opens, Deku literally just kind of makes his black wings to augment his speed and strength and flies the hell out of there near the robots, and then just kind of smash into them, destroying some of them. He was faster than Ida, which surprised him, and then he took out his spear and made multiple, and said multiple, which made a lot of small knife, which he then sent and destroyed a massive amount of robots with it. Everyone was looking around because they didn't see any robots in that spot left, and Deku kind of saw that others needs to get points. So he decided to stop getting points like that since he counted, and he just from that he got about like 60 points. He's still going to destroy some robots, but what he decides to do now is help others, like if they're in danger, he protects them. When people get hurt, he makes his. Well, no. During a bit after that, he destroys robot normally, then he sees that some people are injured. Then he says Pollen Garden, which envelop almost the entire arena, well, city, and everyone starts healing. Like, they just see the guy that destroyed a massive amount of robot just in the sky. And suddenly he makes a bubble around them that just heals them all. The heroes that are looking at it just kind of are surprised by that. So they do accord him a lot of more of points thanks to that. Then, close to the end, he sees everyone starting to run away. He turns around, he sees the 0 pointer. He goes to go away because he just thought, well, I don't actually need to destroy it, it only counts for 0, and then he hears help. He turns around and sees a girl under some rubble. So, automatically, he points his weapon and he sends it towards the robot and says, Guardian. The Guardian enters in collision and breaks part of it, or more like makes a dent in it. And then he says, that won't work. He moves it out of there, he makes him take the rock off of Uraraka and bring Uraraka away. Then she just see the kid start glowing blackish. His wing grows into those black tainted wings, and suddenly she hears armor, which basically makes an armor with blades on him, which he then just goes straight for the robot and basically break it in half. After that, the President Mike yells, "It's over!" Which deku then goes back to the Raka and make pollen garden around her. Sorry, to heal her ankle, and then he starts leaving. Everyone was impressed with him because, well, literally, he was healing people, he was helping them, he was destroying a lot of robots. He destroyed the 0 pointer, which was massive, saved the girl from it. So, yeah. I'm going to end it here. This was part 1 of What If Deku was an immortal demon fairy. Hope you liked it. Natsu.